What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and this is the reset. So I do wish all good luck if you are pulling for Kula and Maisie, because really both of these characters are insane. And today we're going to be showing Kula doing a solo against Guild Raid against Nightmare Geese. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be comparing some card sets, the Hot and Cold set versus the Rugal set. I went ahead and took all of you guys' advice and just went ahead and used my selector for the Type 1 set card. That way I completed the Hot and Cold set instead of trying to go for Maisie's 3PG, because her SS3PG does work on her. And unfortunately, she is at A2. I can't take her to A3 because of the EX generic memory. I know that I'm probably more than likely not going to be using her that much, which does kind of suck, but this is all about Kula and this comparison between these two card sets. So something that you're going to notice about the card set, guys, is her CP amount. So she has 200,000, about 201,000 CP, and her attack is at 121,000, and her defense is at 48,000, right? But whenever you switch over to the Rugal set, right, you'll notice some differences here. We'll slap on the Rugal hit. You're going to notice that her CP is actually going to be much higher with this set. Now, this set is over 6 months old. And if you look at her attack, guys, it's at 121,000. Her defense is at 48,000, but her CP is like 20,000 higher. Now, when it comes to, the damage of your character, guys, really the buffs within these sets is really what makes the difference. The amount of critical damage, critical rate, the attack buffs, and so on and so on. So with the Rugal set, I mean, both of these sets have the whole 30% chance to power up the power charge rate. Both of them have, increased critical rate on one of the cards, right? And this set actually gives you increased critical damage of extreme fighters by 70%. So you get a solid critical damage by 70% whenever you slap this set on. And that's a big reason why the CP is higher than what it is on the Hot and Cold set. It's a solid setup. It's a solid 70% increase to your critical damage, which makes a big difference in your CP. But it also deals additional damage equal to 250% of attack upon landing an active skill. And it increases extreme fighter attack by 22% per every 1 power. And whenever you have 5 PG bars of power gain on the bottom of your screen, then you're actually going to get 110% extra attack, which is awesome. It's a really great set, and still to this day proves to be pretty damn relevant. But if you slap on the Hot and Cold set on good old Kula here, you're going to notice some different buffs going on here. So let's slap this thing on here. And with the Hot and Cold set, again, you're going to get the increased critical rate by 7%, the PG gain and all that. But this is really where it's at here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So this increases own attack by 175% of defense. And because Kula's a defensive character, and because Maisie's a defensive character, this is really, really good for buffing up their attack. And on top of that, they get a solid critical rate by 12% when a defense fighter lands a skill, right? It doesn't matter if they do a critical hit or not. When they land a skill, guys, whether it's the 1, 2, or 3, they get that critical rate buff by 12%, so it's a guaranteed critical rate buff. And then they get increased critical damage by 20% when an extreme fighter lands a skill up to 120%. This stacks up to 120%. So with the Rugal set, you got a 70% increase in critical damage, but this can go up to 120% on top of this increased attack by 175% of defense. It is a massive, massive difference, guys. And then on top of that, they have an increased attack by 30% when landing a skill on a chilled target, which both Maisie and Kula have chill. And this goes up to 120%. So they gain another extra 120% attack. You can get up to an extra 110% attack with the Rugal set, but the caveat to it is you have to have 5 bars of PG gain. Whereas with this set, you don't. This is just going to stack whenever you're attacking. It's a guaranteed buff, whereas with the Rugal set, it's not exactly guaranteed. You have to have the more bars of PG gain that you have, the more attack that you're actually going to have. Whereas with this set, as long as you just keep attacking and attacking, this is going to stack up to 120%. That is massive, guys. That is a big, big difference, even though the CP difference is quite massive between the Rugal set and the Hot and Cold set. The set also does increase defense fighter CP, which is also really great for EX defensive fighter in the game, right? And we're going to answer the question as to whether or not is it really worth pulling for, because I can tell you guys, before you see the run, something that you should always keep in mind whenever you watch these runs is the level of the character. The higher level that the character is, the more of a difference these card sets actually make. I've shown this in the past with other card sets that we have had, and you really do see a much larger difference the higher level they are. So if you're using a level 90, an A1, an A2 Kula, and Maisie, you're not going to see as much of a difference between the Rugal set and the Hot and Cold set. I mean, you'll see a difference, but you're not going to see as much of a difference as what you're going to see with an A6 character. With an A6 character, you're just going to see more of a difference because they're just a whole lot stronger. They do a whole lot more damage. Those buffs make a bigger difference on a higher level character. So that is always something you should keep in mind whenever you are pulling for card sets. So if Kula and Maisie are characters that you plan on A5ing, or the character that you already have at A5, you're going to see a bigger difference in having the hot and cold set versus having them at A3, A2, A4. The set is still going to be stronger for them, but it's not going to be as big of a difference. But if you are leveling up Mai and Kula, and your plan is to get an A5, we do have EX generic memories available in the game. I mean, granted, it's going to be very difficult to get them, but we do have them. We know we can level up our characters. Once you get the character, you know you can level up in the future, then, you know, you might want to pull for the set. Now, when it comes to the guild raid run that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be using Athena's leadership. Now, I pre-recorded the run, guys, so it's against Nightmare Geese, since it's the reset, where, you know, it's going on to Rugal here. And I wanted to do it against Geese because, honestly, having the Shermie option card, you know, gives us that shock damage, and Kula already has Chill in her kit. So we have the relevant dot to break the meter, which is pretty awesome against Geese. Both Maisie and Kula are just really broken, guys. And to be fair, I know some of you guys aren't going to like to hear this unless you're a Maisie fan, but Maisie, from what I've seen, guys, at A5 is stronger than Kula in Guild Raid. However, in other game modes like Guild Boss Challenge, then Kula will shine even more. She seems to be stronger in Guild Boss Challenge versus Guild Raid, where Maisie actually seems to show off a little bit more of her power. But that doesn't mean Kula isn't strong. As you guys will see, she is freaking broken and nuts. Now, we're using Athena's leadership. I'm not going to be using the buffs from either of these characters. We're just going to do the run. And on the left side, you guys will notice that I got Rugal set in the text there, and I got Kula set on the right. Instead of saying hot and cold, I just went ahead and decided to go with the Kula, just say Kula set instead. But I'm trying to play both these runs exactly the same. Now, I want you guys to notice the damage after the 3 PGs. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and I want you to look at the damage here, okay? And now look at the damage, guys. On the right side, we have almost 2.2 billion. That is with the hot and cold set. And on the left side, we have 1.4 billion. You can already see a difference in the damage between these two sets. It's a pretty big difference, guys. And that's just in the very beginning, just, you know, with doing one full rotation after doing her 3 PG, you can see that there is a massive difference in the damage. But again, guys, this is an A6 character. If she was A1, A2, A3, you wouldn't see as much of a difference. The characters just wouldn't be as strong, and those buffs wouldn't make as much of a difference as what they are whenever the character is at A6, A7. I mean, you just see a bigger difference, guys. Like, seriously. But Kula, man, I ended up getting her. I got her 3PG, right? And her 3PG is pretty damn cool. I will say one thing about her 3PG. It is a little shorter than her SS3PG. And I actually found in the Alexandrite event that if I use her 3PG, like her SS3PG, personally, I just do more damage, right? I'm just able to delay the timer a little bit longer using it, but that's me. The 3PG that she has gives an increased defenses by 30%, which is actually massive, especially with the hot and cold set. That's something else to keep in mind. If you have her 3PG, it's going to just buff up that hot and cold set even more because, the hot and cold set is going to buff up the character more because you're getting an extra increase in defenses by 35%. Remember that the hot and cold set increases attack 175% of defense, right? I mean, it makes more of a difference, right? So if you have the 3PG and the hot and cold set, it's a sweet little combination that you can use for them. Now, we're only going to run until 1 minute, guys. And as you guys can see, at the 1 minute mark, right, the coolest set has done 275 billion, and the Rugal set has done, 210 billion. I had to close my eyes, man, I need some glasses. Around 210 billion. So that is a big, big difference, which means that, I'll do, maybe 100 billion or more, 100 billion or more in this Guild Raid run using the hot and cold set versus the Rugal set. Even though the CP isn't as high on the hot and cold set as it is on the Rugal set, because of all these buffs that we're getting from it, it's just going to do way, way more damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this run. We're just going to, go to the full screen and just run the hot and cold set. We've already established that it is just quite a bit stronger, especially for an A6 character, to have the hot and cold set versus the Rugal set, right? And something to note, guys, now here's the thing, now we have the new Alexandrite event, and, it's an event that's happening for Kula and Maisie, especially designed for them because of the chill and burn. Well, I don't know if the character is going to be worth leveling up, because you never know in the next event, if they do a team relay dungeon again, it might be different dots. Right? I mean, the character is still going to be godly, guys, because they're super damn strong, but they might have different dots where a different character is actually going to get more shine. I mean, Netmarble could very well do that. So that's also something else to keep in mind. Don't plan on getting these characters and leveling them up just for future events, because they might not be the most optimal. But that is kind of the name of gacha. We always take a chance whenever we pull for these characters, but that doesn't mean that I don't think they're worth it. I mean, guys, they're awesome, guys. I mean, seriously, Kula and Maisie are both freaking amazing characters. I really hate that I don't have Maisie at A5. And by the way, people keep asking me why I always call Maisie. It's just a pet name, guys. Kind of like what you give your girlfriend. Sorry, Terry. It's just what I do. I just say Maisie instead of Mai. I've known about the character for 20 years. So it's just this little pet name that I like to call her. But Kula's 3PG is so cool, right? And definitely Gilray, I definitely would do way more damage with that damn thing than I do her SS3PG. But look at these numbers that she's putting out, guys. Right? A 524 billion solo with non-transcended cards. She doesn't have one transcended card on her, and she doesn't even have all the optimal stones on her, right? And if you look at the girl and you look at her stones, she only has this single attack stone. When I get that other stone, she's going to do even more damage with a fame system of level 15. So in this video, I'm just showing how strong Kula is, and I'm also showing the difference between having that Rugal set and the hot and cold set, guys. So whether or not you pull for this hot and cold set, it's really up to you. Just remember that the higher level your Mai or Kula is, the more of a difference this set will make for your character. If you don't already have the Rugal or Athena set, the Rugal and Athena set will still be insane for both of these characters, guys. They're still going to be nuts for them. And are you really going to need the hot and cold set? I think it really would depend on the player and where they're at actually in the game. There would be players that, having this set would make enough of a difference for them to be able to maybe get that EX generic memory. But for other players, maybe not. Maybe they already have some level up characters to where they really don't need it. I mean, even on my free-to-play account, I really don't need this set, but it's a damn good set, guys. It's a really awesome set because, one, it's going to work on any character in the game. That's something that's also very nice. Well, any EX character in the game, especially if we get defensive characters in the future, if we get a collaboration with defensive characters, this is actually really good. But just remember that if they don't have chill, they're not going to get this buff unless you apply chill from a striker prior to using them, right? That's also something to keep in mind. You have to remember that this set is really going to be the best on EX characters that have chill damage and are defensive characters, especially if they have defensive buffs built into their kit. It's going to be, so it is still kind of a niche set, whereas like the Rugal set and the Athena set, well, it's really just kind of not optimal or the best, but it just works on every single one of the characters or every single one of the EX characters in the game. You don't feel like you're literally losing out on anything. Whereas with this set, if you put it on a balance type fighter or an attack type fighter, you're not really gaining that much for them defensive buffs. And if they don't have chill, and again, if you don't apply a chill from a striker prior to using the character that you're using, then you're not going to do near as much damage. So that is also something to keep in mind. So I really think, guys, that unless you're trying to max out Kula and Maisie, unless you have them at A5, I personally don't think this set is really worth pulling for unless you need to gain some CP. You don't have a Rugal set, you don't have an Athena set, and you do love Maisie and Kula. So let me know what you guys think about the hot and cold set versus the Rugal set. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. DD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.